The Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association's Fellow Award, the top award given to one individual each year to recognize professional members of TRPA that have made outstanding contributions to the recreation field over and above his or her normal expected duties. 1996 marks the 25th anniversary of the Fellow Award program. To celebrate this milestone, we want to take you on a trip down memory lane to meet past Fellow Award winners.
It's a homecoming. I just love a homecoming. Ladies commence to frying their chicken.
So let's take a look back now to the first Fellow Award. In 1972, there was a gentleman around who had begun working as a recreation leader back in 1946. He was president of TRPA in 1956-57. His name was Jack Spoor. Mr. Spoor made great strides for tennis in Nashville and was the Southeastern Vice President of the United States Amateurs Tennis Association in the 1950s. But his big love was for softball. Jack was elected into the National Softball Hall of Fame for making Tennessee one of the nation's top 10 states in softball. Though he is no longer with us, the spirit of our first Fellow Award winner lives on. Then, in 1973, the award went to a member with a very nature-oriented nickname.
Is it Deer Slayer?
No. The 1973 fellow was Carl Rabbit Yearwood. He started out as a playground director in Oak Ridge and went on to become the superintendent of parks there, culminating a career of service that lasted for over 30 years. Rabbit was also president of TRPA from 1961 until 63.
See there, they should have called him Deer Slayer, making that poor deer cross the road.
Then, when 1974 came along, it was time to honor Gabe Prescott. He spent 32 years in parks and recreation, with 18 of those in Kingsport, Tennessee. He served as president of TRPA in 1978-79.
Says he plays a lot of golf these days. But he didn't say how much of the playing was in the fairway.
The award recipient for 1975 was Mr. George Jones.
Ooh, no-show Jones.
Did he show up?
He never shows up.
No, not the singer. The Knoxville Recreation Supervisor.
Oh, yes, of course.
Did he show guitar?
Well, give him a guitar.
His career was devoted to recreational service in the Army, Oak Ridge, and finally 14 years in the Knoxville Parks and Recreation Department. Mr. Jones was also responsible for getting our publication started, the Parks and Recreation Magazine. In 1975, Duncan DeMumbrium was first hired by the city of Jackson, Tennessee in 1955. He became the city's first executive director in 1957, where he stayed for 2 more decades. Dunk, as he was known, always put kids first and was an incredible advocate for youth sports. He also coached youth teams and was even a professional baseball scout for Pittsburgh and Cincinnati for several years. In his spare time, he also took care of a 350-acre farm, raising cattle.
How exciting!
1977 saw one of Nashville's recreation professionals receive the Fellow Award. Charles Spear was the winner that year. He also served as TRPA president 1974-75. Another award that he cherishes is the Professional of the Year for the Southern District of NRPA in 1975, while still in Nashville. One of his proudest achievements, he says, is selling the idea of the wave pool in Nashville to the mayor and the Metro Council.
Usually you try not to make waves with the mayor, but not Charlie.
Yes. Now let's move on. 1978. This year's winner has brought a real mystery to TRPA.
What was that? Disco music? Get down, get funky.
That is a mystery. But no, Jack Miller won the award. He was then director of state parks in the late 70s. But no one now seems to know where he is or what's become of him.
Well, there was that one report in Montana, but it turned out to be Bigfoot.
Do you know where he is? His whereabouts remain a mystery. 1979 went to Gerald McKinney. Mr. McKinney crafted a 34-year career in the Parks and Recreation field. During that career, he worked for the Memphis Park Commission, then as superintendent of the Germantown Parks Department. Then he became the assistant commissioner for the Tennessee Department of Conservation and director of Tennessee State Parks, where he stayed until his retirement in 1995. Today, he is the director of the State Parks Foundation for the state of Tennessee. He has also been the recipient of numerous other awards and recognitions. In 1980, the award was given to a female for the first time. The lady who is playing host to this year's event here in Nashville, and that's Mary Weary.
Mary, quite contrary. You know, she's only worked for one place her whole life. She either really likes it, or nobody else will have her.
Well, we know the latter's not the case. She served on or directed countless TRPA committees. She was the director of the first Middle Tennessee Area Special Olympics, began several award-winning programs for Metro Nashville, including the dance division. And one of her proudest accomplishments, she got the Warner Park Nature Center started.
Mary helped do that?
Mary is known for her hard work and enthusiasm, and for her big sense of humor.
It's her. It's really her. You, Miss Parton. Oh, wait. It's not her. Never mind. No, wait. One more time. Now that's funny.
Charlie Ellenberg was the recipient in 1981. He started out with Metro Parks in Nashville as a student intern out of Clemson University. He soon began to work his way up through the ranks and finally wound up at TVA. Charlie's been known by several nicknames through the years like Alienstein, Porco, and Fred Flintstone, but his personal favorite is the Methane Master.
Hey, does that mean...
Don't ask. He's said to be so tight that when he winks, his kneecaps move, and Charlie's known as a frequent customer to yard sales and the Goodwill.
If you don't believe it, just check his wardrobe out the next time you run into him.
Mr. Ellenberg served as the president of TRPA in 1977-78.
Time now for that lovable year, 1982.
Another of our hosts took the honors in 1982. Today, he's still serving as the director of parks in Metro Nashville. James Fike. Jim started with parks over 32 years ago and later worked his way up to be in charge of special services and was promoted to director of the department in 1989. He's brought countless improvements to the department, such as raising the operating budget from only $4.6 million to $21.5 million, increasing the number of parks from 57 to over 83, and the amount of acreage from 6,800 to more than 9,000. Jim is a big sports fan and is a member of the Nashville Sports Council, and he's been a big Braves fan ever since 1954.
It is also rumored that he will be running for office in November. Here he is now, pictured with his new running mate. They're running on the dog catcher ticket.
Next, we move on to 1983. Those who know Jerry Gist say he's a very, very busy man. Just try to get him on the phone and you'll see. He is with the city of Jackson, where he works as the executive director of public works, which not only involves parks, but planning, health and sanitation, engineering, streets, and more. All who know him say he's one of the best in his field.
Yep, there he is. He's outstanding in his field.
He's also quite well known for his choice of foot attire, the saddle Oxford.
Oh, I just love an Oxford man.
I just love one so much.
John Wilbank of Maryville was the next recipient of the Fellow Award. He's known not only for being the TRPA president in 1983-84, but for immediately calling the office when he jumps in the car, even when it's still in the parking lot. His staff says he's had a few ambitions along the way.
Oh, look. He's coaching roller derby.
Some of his ideas don't always work. Like when he dried his wet sneakers in the microwave and the gel insert blew up. Or when he had a skin rash for weeks after a stint as the Tin Man one Halloween.
If he only had a brain.
But Maryville has a fine program, and they've been proud to have John in their fold. Another of the charter members of TRPA who received the award was J.W. Rice in 1985. Though he is no longer with us, his memories are still very much alive. His catchphrase, used many a time at banquets or meetings, was, "Get out your $2." His sense of humor turned work into fun time on many occasions. Mr. Rice became superintendent of recreation in Chattanooga in 1967. He worked hard to promote recreation to the end, helping to found many softball and baseball organizations, and to begin a scholarship fund that was later named after him. Upon receiving his award in '85, Mr. Rice is remembered to say, "After my 39 years in recreation, this is truly the highest honor for me." The next year, a familiar face to many was awarded the honor. 1986 was Joyce Hoyle's turn. Today she works for the state as director of the Recreation Services Division. She's known for her great personality and her collection of antique dolls, thimbles, and paperweights.
Blah, blah.
Hey, who's that vampire coming up behind her there? Look out, John!
It's just a hungry state worker.
Oh, that explains it.
Nashville's own Robert Parrish took the honors in 1987. Bob serves as the superintendent of the Warner Parks, which are among the largest municipally owned parks in the nation. Bob has been with Metro Parks for 19 years and has helped to bring about many accomplishments.
Yeah, like really cool hairstyles. Would you look at that?
No. More like working to get the Warner Parks listed in the Natural Areas Register and on the National Register of Historic Places.
Talk about historic.
Bob was the president of TRPA in 1990 and is currently on the host committee for the 1999 Congress of the NRPA, which will be held in Nashville.
Well, he looks ready to party.
Then came 1988, and Mark Fraley was the honored recipient. He has served as the director of parks in Gatlinburg and also as a state parks director. He left parks to find another way to dig in the dirt.
Don't tell me. He's a lawyer now.
Yep. He deals with collections, liabilities, personal injury, and many, many divorces.
Now that's recreation.
There was a student at UT who began working in recreation and has stayed in the field ever since. Brad Chambers was the Fellow Award winner in 1989. He served in Rockdale County and in Athens, Tennessee, then finally ended up in Cookeville, where he now serves as the Director of Leisure Services and Public Facilities. He says the highlight of his career was receiving the award.
Well, now, I don't know about his career, but there sure seems to have been some highlights.
Oh, no. His wife, Cheryl, will kill us, and Brad will kill the staff in his office for this one. Rachel says, "Please don't kill her, Brad."
Hey, it's becoming. Looks like a new trend to me.
Let's move on. His staff also relates that he recently went to speak on recreation to a nudist colony. The word is he stayed dressed, but he couldn't seem to concentrate on his speech that day. 1990. The new decade saw the award go once again to an employee in the Tennessee Department of Conservation, Jerry Dillahay. The following year, he moved on to Arizona, where he fought hard defending grants. He says, other than the rain, he misses that Tennessee hospitality the most. He says his most memorable experiences since leaving Tennessee have been working with Native Americans in developing park facilities on reservations.
Time now for a quick break. Just a quick intermission to catch your breath. Okie dokie, there you go. Back now to a program already in progress.
1991. Our winner, Harvey Faust from Germantown, for his work with the Memphis Food Bank. He was dubbed not king, but jester of the cans. He served with the APRS, the NRPA, and with the SRC as its chairman.
Not to mention the ABC of the QRS. He's A-OK. I see he's quite the VIP.
That's true. In April, he was selected as the recipient of the Harold D. Meyer Professional Award. Plus, he has 2 grandchildren. These days, he and his wife, Barbara, are recreating in places like Amsterdam, Paris, London.
Not to mention downtown Memphis.
Yes. A TRPA personality whose name most of us recognized was the winner in 1992. Mr. Wayne Hansard served the city of Morristown in Hamlin County for over 33 years, with a total of more than 40 years given to public service. He last served as the director of the Parks and Recreation Department in Morristown, where he made a big impression on the community and their quality of life. There's even a park named after him in the airport industrial development area in recognition of his work. He was the president of TRPA in 1981-82, and the Municipal County Maintenance Award was named for him. These days, he stays very busy recreating with hunting, fishing, and the ever-present honeydews.
Honey, I need you to put the worm on the hook for me.
The next recipient is someone who seems to have been born to the recreation profession.
Oh, what a darling little girl.
Well, I bet she growed up real good.
Oh, can we take her home with us?
Oh, honey, she's done growed all up by now.
Oh, well, who is she anyway?
Don't know.
The 1993 Fellow Award winner was Kitty Frazier of Kingsport. Known for her creativeness and her energy, she personifies perseverance and self-confidence. Kitty serves as the Director of Parks and Recreation for Kingsport and has received recognition on the state and the national level. She's written numerous articles, made countless presentations, and was the president of TRPA in 1986-87. And in her spare time, she even finds time to travel. The next year, 1994, the award went to a member who called the TVA his home. That was Mike Croson. In the early 70s, Mike was the first graduate of UT's Health, Physical Ed, and Recreation program to participate in a recreation internship without having to undertake a teaching internship. He worked his way up the ranks to become the director of the Maryville-Alcoa Blount County Recreation and Parks Department. This is his 25th anniversary as well, marking 25 years of membership in TRPA. He recounts that getting his TRPA Fellow Award as being his most memorable professional experience.
What about personal memories?
Well, there are some interesting memories you can ask Mike about, like shooting peroxide in an open wound. Just ask him.
Ooh.
You can bank on the fact that George Brogdon has made his mark on recreation and parks, and he has the Fellow Award in 1995 to prove it. He serves as the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation in Germantown and has been in the field since 1979. George has been an active member of NRPA and TRPA since that time and has been a member of the TRPA Executive Board since 1983 and served in many various capacities both nationally and locally, including the District 4 Supervisor. Being a big proponent of staying fit, he completed the Ironman Triathlon in Hawaii in '87. If you get a chance to talk to George, you'll learn that his favorite saying is "Pretty lotta," as in, I have a pretty lot of stuff to do. Would you like to help? That brings us to 1996, the 25th anniversary of an important recognition to very deserving representatives of the parks and recreation industry, the Fellow Awards. Now, let's get a look at these award-winning inspirational figures in person.
Oh, this is so exciting. They really are real-life people. And coming up soon is the 1996 Fellow Award winner. So everybody, stand up. Hey, you two there in the back. You from Kingsport over there. Now, stand up. Now take your right hand and put it in the air. Now take your left hand and put it in the air. Now put them together again.
And now, to introduce our past winner is Katie Penzola.
See there, Katie? I told you I'd get you a standing ovation.
And now it's time to add one. So yes, the moment you've been waiting for, as we celebrate our past and work in concert together towards the future. It's time to announce the 1996 Fellow Award. The envelope, please. Thank you. Like the Academy Awards. And the winner is, well, okay, you know this is coming. First, let me tell you a little bit about this person. The first criteria of a fellow is that he or she is a dedicated professional who has gone beyond the call of duty. We see involvement at the local level, the state level, and the national level. Certainly, this year's fellow meets these criteria. Having served as president and as our Southern Regional Council representative. She has led her department to many honors and achievements, including the Dorothy A. Mullins Arts and Humanities Award. Now I'll tell you, you're getting a few clues, it's a she. She was our president in 1993 and our SRC representative in 1996. That's still this year. She exemplifies professionalism, leadership, enthusiasm, and above all, compassion. No matter what the circumstance, her grace and composure are legendary. This is not the first time she has stood on this very stage, having been crowned right here as Miss Teenage Nashville. I won't tell you the year. Have you figured it out yet? She has been director of Clarksville Parks and Recreation since 1986. It is now my distinct honor and pleasure to present the 1996 Fellow Award to Starlene Shackelford.
I've been practicing this thing for a month. And well, let me say this. If there ever was a testimony to the strength of this organization, my winning this award is certainly that, because I was hired in recreation kind of as an accident 20 years ago. Two men who were really good in the profession hired me, Lou Wallace and Tom Dillard, and that was a challenge, never to be outdone. I wanted to be as good as they were. And they introduced me to this venue, the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association. And those of you that know me know that I have milked every one of you for information, for advice, for experience. And I have milked the process, the classes, the meetings. It's certainly given me the tools and the mechanism to do a good job, and I guess the rest was up to me. So I thank my great friends in TRPA. They deserve this, and I thank a wonderful staff who always makes me look good. They work hard, and I reap the benefits of those efforts. I'm overwhelmed. I've revered the work of these people on the stage, and it doesn't seem possible that I get to join them. Thank you very much.